Welcome to Wager Talk TV. Kelly Stewart here, joined by Dave Cokin and Adam Trigger of WagerTalk.com. We're headed to the Big Ten, where the Minnesota Gophers take on the Michigan State Spartans. Now, this one opens Sparty -1.5. Now, pretty much across the board, 3 in favor of the Gophers. Total 51. Adam, I'm going to go to you first. This is a Spartans team that I think has the ability to win a couple of big games this year, but I haven't seen enough spark from them offensively. On the flip side, I always like the Gophers, but never laying points with them on the road.
Yeah, well, I saw a big headline when I was doing my research for this game on a pretty notable site, and it was pumping up the fact that the Minnesota Golden Gophers are number 2 in the country in offense, number 2 in the country in defense, and it's almost like criminal to even say that at this point because of who they've played. So they've played New Mexico State, Western Illinois, Colorado. And listen, it's not Minnesota's fault that that's their schedule. They make these schedules way in advance. But the way it worked out, those 3 teams are all just horrific this year. And it's hard to tell much from Minnesota based off of that. So we see their offense and defense are very efficient. But I can almost guarantee that it has to trend in the other direction because it's only going to get tougher from here on out. With that being said, I don't think that they should be penalized in terms of not thinking that they could play a good game here. Tanner Morgan's a veteran. He's a veteran senior guy, and he's someone I would want at the quarterback position. Ibrahim's back off injury, and he's an exceptional. He spearheads that rushing attack, which is solid. And Michigan State's a team that I thought was pretty overvalued coming into the season. I was close with Washington last week, couldn't get there. I didn't feel like laying the 3.5, but they just, blew them out. But it's just real tough for me to lay the 3, even though I kind of lean with Minnesota here. Of course, Minnesota opened the dog. Now they're the favorite. I think you're way too late if you want to bet Minnesota. I can't lay the field goal, but I don't really like this Michigan State team, Kel. So it would have to be Gophers or pass for me here. Tough game. I'm really not sure. Slight lean Minnesota.
I would also say this is a tough game. I was on Washington minus the 3.5 on Saturday. One of my only bright spots. In fact, Dave, you're a big numbers guy, and that's where I appreciate your handicap. What do you make this game, and do you have a lean or maybe even a play here?
No, I don't like the game at all. I think the number's about where it should be. I don't know what the status of Reed is for Michigan State, who's a really important component on their offense. In fact, I would think he's actually the most valuable offensive player. Minnesota lost a wide receiver, which could be significant because Michigan State knows what Minnesota's going to want to do here. They're going to want to run the ball. So you would think Michigan State's going to come out, configure the defensive scheme to try and take away the run or at least contain it to some extent. I do have to wonder about Michigan State's mindset after losing to Washington. No big deal. The way they lost, I mean, they got crushed in that game. The final score was misleading because Michigan State got some garbage points late. Through the first 3 quarters, that was an absolute slaughter. So, based on what I've seen, I don't want to overweigh what Minnesota's done because they've played nobody so far, and this is clearly their strongest test. But you would think they put more preparation into this game than any other. I guess I'd lean Minnesota, but it's certainly not a game I'm going to bet on.
All right, everybody on the panel leans Minnesota, but it is going to be a stay-away game for this threesome. Dave, at Dave Cokin on Twitter, Adam, at Top Flight SI. Make sure you guys head over to the Wager Talk YouTube channel and check out all of our other game videos.